Good morning, everyone. My name is Susannah Tantemsapya, and I am the founder and executive director of both Creative Migration and Bangkok 1899. I am also a nonprofit advisor for the Entertainment and Culture Pavilion and a member of the convening team for the Entertainment and Culture for Climate Action Initiative with the UNFCCC. So several hats within COP28, and very happy to see all of you this morning. So we're going to talk today about climate impact reports for the culture sector, particularly for the contemporary art sector. So the title of the talk is Where Arts and Culture Tackle Climate Action. So Creative Migration is a women of color led organization based in Los Angeles and Bangkok. That's me right there. And our programming is defined by three primary strands. So we focus on artist residencies and creative hubs, site-specific installations, and transmedia projects. Our biggest project to date is Bangkok 1899, and that's our flagship space in Bangkok. It opened in early 2019 with founding support from the Ford Motor Company Fund and the Rockefeller Foundation. And we have a signature artist residency program that sort of defines all of our art and culture program. And we also partner in the space with Na Projects, which has a cafe and also newly opened bar. And they are a social impact space. So they work with at-risk youth and urban refugee populations to support and do skills training. Our shared mission, our official mission is to bring together cultural and climate diplomacy with a special focus on intersectional practices and collaboration. So this is sort of a visual of what our mission is. So we have an organization-wide climate policy. How did we get there? So starting in 2011, I was accepted into a sustainable filmmaking initiative out of Stockholm, Sweden called Project Green. And I was assigned a mentor and was given a guidelines to follow, which are very similar to the Producers of America Green guidelines. And that was a very life-changing project. And it was the documentary is Post New Bills, the story of Green Patriot posters. We have some of the posters around the room, and that is a design campaign that started around 2010. And it was looking at the spaces where we see marketing and advertising and using the same tools to promote conservation, environmentalism. And they were specifically inspired by, in America during World War II, there were a lot of posters created to conserve for the war effort. So looking at that history, looking at how advertising works today and integrating that in. And around 2010, 2011, that was pretty new within climate messaging from at least my experience. And here are some of the posters here, and they are also around the pavilion today. In 2015, we started doing more large-scale projects and integrating environmentally regenerative practices within the art making process. So this is on Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles in Silver Lake, and it was an intervention on a derelict motel called the Bates Motel, the nickname because it was on Bates Avenue. And the project is called Projection, and it was designed by French artist Vincent Lamoureux. And we spent 2 years putting this together. So we worked with arborists to deal with the palm trees, which are not indigenous to Los Angeles and actually provide no environmental benefit whatsoever. They were brought in at the beginning of the 20th century to sell real estate, saying, look, it's just like Florida. So, and we used a greenhouse shading compound, so the trees were not damaged at all. And the only way to kill a palm tree is the center leaf inside the palm. So all of that was done. Then we also covered the billboard and then the motel. Worked countless hours with neighborhood councils, the mayor's office, the council districts, the neighbors, and put this together and really worked on doing it as environmentally sustainable as possible. And you can see the scissor lift going up the trees, which are about 100 feet tall. There's also rats that live in the trees. So it's wild, like the more you learn about palms. Bangkok 1899 was started because I am half Thai, half American. I did not grow up with my Thai side of the family, so I wanted to understand that side of myself so that I don't know, felt more complete. And so I got my citizenship as an adult, and I was able to then start establish creative migration in Bangkok and open up a space. The house that it's in is called Ban Chao Phraya Thomasat Montri, and it was built in 1899, designed by an Italian architect, and the owner of the house was known as the father of modern education in Thailand. So I worked with an architect and contractors, and we slowly restored the house from August of 2018 to February 2019, working 7 days a week on the construction. And so we opened, and we really tried to then use environmentally regenerative practices within our day-to-day operations. So right now to present, we started producing climate impact reports working with an organization called Artists Commit, which helped us develop an organization-wide climate policy. And so we wanted to measure our own impact, but also help others adopt these tools to start using it within their own practice, no matter how small it is. So Artists Commit is an artist-led collective. They are based in New York City. They are part of a larger collective of organizations that are mostly grassroots in order to start climate adaptation and mitigation within the contemporary art world. And we'll hear from Artists Commit themselves.
Artists Commit is an artist-led collective committed to a climate-conscious, resilient, and equitable future. Aligned with the Visual Arts Pact, we strive to accelerate collective climate action by leveraging the influence of artists for change in the sector while pursuing rigorous shared targets.
In October 2021, Artists Commit initiated a series of climate impact reports, examining the climate impact of publicly exhibited projects. These reports offer insights into the climate impact of exhibitions and projects, promote dialogue within project teams, and encourage experimentation and transparency in the sector.
The collective focuses on actions related to the production, display, and circulation of artwork, while navigating spaces where artists often lack full control over practices. The initiative emphasizes dispersed and diverse innovations, fostering problem-solving through individual efforts that are then shared on a transparent platform. Artists and institutions that complete reports often end up reassessing policies and practices organization-wide, fostering ongoing efforts toward greater sustainability in art production and display.
Dozens of climate impact reports are now accessible on the Artists Commit website, demonstrating both key areas of climate impact and the range of climate actions being taken within the scope of exhibitions.
Artists everywhere are invited to complete their own climate impact report using the tools, templates, and mentorship support provided by Artists Commit. Learn more at artistcommit.com.
So climate impact reports, what are they? So it takes a holistic view for the climate impact report. So it's about consciousness and carbon impact, but also social justice and working with our community, and then being a transparent model for others to follow. So it's not only we're talking about environmentalism and sustainability, but we're actually practicing it and doing it with very easy tools that are doable and can be shared with many people. So their climate policy, there are areas examined within the CIRs. And so there's 4 areas. One is carbon emissions. And I have to say that the flights are the one thing that are really hard to offset. And it always is the big part of our emissions within all the reports. Waste elimination, we've gotten pretty good with that. We had other partners, so we have a recycling program within our space, composting, and we're able to upcycle a lot of stuff and also then donate things to the refugee communities and at-risk youth that Now Projects is working with, which in turn supports people within our model. And it is about collective action. So we work together very much within our community. So this is actually an exhibition that just wrapped up last week. And it has, as you see, plastic that also then gets recycled again through one of our partners, Precious Plastic Bangkok, and made into other objects. So all of this whole sculpture is going to be upcycled to the community. Collective learning. So we are partnered with the Ford Resource and Engagement Center, which is from the Ford Motor Company Fund. There are several locations around the world, and this is the Ford Fund's center in Asia. And we have other NGOs that we work with. So Creative Migration, Now Projects, SOS, which is a food rescue organization, an urban studies lab, and 2 wildlife organizations, Bird Conservation, Society of Thailand, Love Wildlife. And we all work together, and Precious Plastic Bangkok. So we all work together as an ecosystem and we support each other. We created as a whole team an offset with a climate impact report, which was quite challenging. This is all the NGOs to write the report together, and it took a while, but it actually did create a lot of change in thinking on how we would move forward together as a greater campus. And here are some thoughts by Urban Studies Lab and Precious Plastic Bangkok, and how that allowed them to incorporate more of these sustainable practices within their own organization. Our signature artist residency, we have climate impact outcomes. We hosted Spanish experimental musician and sound artist Francisco Lopez in a 2-part residency from last year to this year. He is one of the top sound artists in the world, and within that small little genre, people really go crazy over his work, and he does a lot of field recordings within the wilderness. So within that residency, he visited 5 different national parks all over Thailand, like record sound in bat caves, like really did a lot to bring the sounds of nature to life in Thailand. The most impact on that report was the travel. So again, we're still trying to figure out like how to mitigate that. But as far as between the part 1 and part 2, we learned how to sort of reduce some of the impact within the performances that he did within our space. Elvire Boindwell was a French artist that we hosted in early 2023, and we worked through this framework our neighborhood was activated for Bangkok Design Week, and a lot of the local youth were hired for that, and they were educated on how to reduce waste and upcycle materials within that residency and the Greater Bangkok Design Week. And then the artist herself used Thai slang with specific topography and imagery, and that created another connection with the locals and learning more about how people speak today in Thailand. Community collaborations. So these are some images from the latest exhibition that we had, Artec, which was in partnership with the European Union Cultural Institute cluster in Bangkok. And there were 8 Thai students and 8 European students that were paired together to create work within a 2-week time span. And we worked with a local curator and artist from the neighborhood, and she introduced them to Nang Lung, which is our neighborhood, which is mainly elders and children, and it's lower middle class to lower class. And there's a lot of disappearing culture, and there's a lot of invisibility within the aging population in the neighborhood. So it's good to have this intergenerational dialogue and also to tell their stories. So they really focused on aging and gentrification of the neighborhood and got that across within some very surprisingly deep artwork for the amount of time that they had. So what we've learned is that it's helped us with our operations overall, our interaction with the community, and also how we collaborate with artists. So the climate impact report framework that helped us develop our climate policy is not very difficult, and it's something that most people can adopt within their own scale of producing work. So what to take with you as we wrap up? We've learned that, as we're sitting in the entertainment and culture pavilion, that art is a contributor to climate change and is also a key component to the solution. So for Post New Bills, we interviewed artist DJ Spooky, and one of his works is right here, Manifesto Antarctica. He did a beautiful symphony and visual piece about that, the continent of Antarctica. But he really said that, art is a way, it's a shock absorber. It allows people to understand issues that are difficult and connect emotionally. And that's what I've heard throughout COP so far with some of the storytelling events I've attended. And it's what we need to do as human beings is connect emotionally and build a community, and also provide solutions and tools that are easy and doable so that we have some hope in the world as well. So if anybody's interested in learning more, we got a QR code. I'm around at the pavilion all day. So you can come and talk to me, look at the posters, ask questions, and maybe we can find some collaborations and some solutions. So I think I have like maybe 1 minute or something. If anybody has questions or any last thoughts or comments from the audience. Don't feel pressured either.
This was great. This was really important, especially being able to do it in other countries. Because I live between two countries too, between Pakistan and the US. So this is really good. And it's not always easy.
You have a difficult commute as well.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you very much for having us. And also got the Green Patriot poster book. We'll get this on camera, and you can flip through it and enjoy some of the posters. And this is also an open source campaign. So all these were contributed. And even though it's an older campaign, so it's not really open right now. Hopefully there'll be a Green Patriot Posters 2.0. And one last shout out. I am wearing a sustainable fashion line from Bangkok called Birth of Paradise. So they gave me this to wear. And then these were dyed indigo in our upcycling indigo workshops where we use plant-based dyes to, and this is a good kickoff for the fashion programming that's coming up. Thank you very much.